Hello one and all. This is my review, reaction, and cut content discussion of The Time Incarnated Slime Season 3, Episode 13. And based off the title of this episode and where we're in light novel, I expect this to be another episode full of meetings. Though weirdly enough, based on how they paced this, Rimuru might not actually appear in this episode at all, which would be interesting. I mean, something I saw people talking about last episode was how much they liked Rimuru's meeting with Molly, because Molly wasn't one of Rimuru's yes men who was like, yes, great Lord Rimuru, that's a great idea, we'll do whatever you say. He actually had his own ideas. They bounced back and forth on one another. It was really interesting to see. It really opened up wider perspectives and understandings about this world. And this episode is going to have at least two very important meetings that Rimuru won't be part in, but he will be the main topic of discussion. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited for it, but let's get started in 3, 2, 1. God, the lighting, seriously. This meeting is being held by candlelight. That just adds such an element of tension to it. Oh my god. And it's going to contrast quite nicely with the next meeting too. Interesting. I mean, that is interesting because the official report technically says that, oh no, these two fought to a draw. It was even. But it's kind of hard to believe that since, you know, there were no fatalities on either side. That seems to imply that one side soundly beat the other to such a degree they were able to, you know, take everyone alive as a prisoner. So most people who are like really intelligent realize, okay, yeah, I get it. Rimuru beat her soundly, beat her butt so bad that she had no choice but to fully and completely surrender. Whereas other people, you know, the less intelligent people, the people who don't really understand power scaling all that much, just kind of take it to be like, oh, Hinata was a fraud, Hinata was a scam, she was never that strong at all. And of course, the fact that, you know, a slime beat the person who is widely recognized as the strongest humanity has to offer unnerves everybody quite a bit. Yeah, that's also a very common element in this series. Basically, the reports that, you know, Gazelle's spies, including Vester, send back to the Dwarven capital are so absolutely insane and unbelievable that some of them don't even get brought to the king because they're like, yeah, this is obviously fake. There's no way this is actually true. God, I love it. And seriously, poor Vester. And Henrietta. Hey, there she is. God, she's scary. Seriously, walking out from the shadows. That is awesome. Yeah, Henrietta is the lead of Gazelle's dark agents. Basically his spies. Basically his Zoe and Zoe's team. That's interesting, and also important to mention that, you know, she says, Henrietta said that, oh, Rimuru beat Hinata in a one-on-one fight, but Light Novel also makes it clear that she couldn't actually see the end of the fight because the outpouring of magical energy caused such a disturbance that it actually interrupted her ability to spy on the fight. Basically, the battle was too intense for her to actually watch from a distance. God, I love that. And here's something else that's interesting. You know, she's saying, Demon Lord Rimuru may now be stronger than you are, which is, again, another running thing throughout the series, because nobody in this world actually knows how strong anybody else is. At different points in this series, King Gazelle has been described as being weaker than Hinata, as strong as Hinata, and stronger than any Demon Lord who's ever lived. That last one is a lie, but the other two are a bit less certain. I mean, Gazelle does have some, you know, aces up his sleeve where he could probably fight near her level, but, you know, exactly who would win if they fought is a little bit unclear. Yeah, seriously. Just the fact that Rimuru and Gazelle have trained under the same master means in Gazelle's mind, yeah, Rimuru is my eternal brother, and he will never turn his back on me, and I will never turn my back on him. which is an insane position for a king to take, but, you know, it works for him. Oh! And the invitation. Oh, good lord, the invitation. Yeah, this is a letter that Rimuru sent out to every noble, basically every noble in the world, saying, hey, I'm a demon lord, so come to my capital and witness my coronation. This is absolutely not a trap! That is such an insane thing to say, and nobody really knows how to respond to that. Even Gazelle, Rimuru's brother in arms, doesn't really know how to respond to this, doesn't really know what exactly Rimuru is thinking here. Okay, so it looks like that was the end of the meeting with the dwarves, which was a little bit disappointing. There was definitely a much longer discussion in the light novel where, you know, they were basically wondering, hey, should we take out Rimuru? Can we take out Rimuru? Should we have taken out Rimuru earlier? Because he is very clearly a threat now. And while there's a lot of differing opinions, the ultimate conclusion that Gazelle comes to is basically, hey, listen up. We were pretty much the first ones to ever form an actual connection to Tempest. We have stronger bonds with them than anyone else on the planet, meaning we're going to benefit the most from all their technology, from all their advancements. And, you know, if his kingdom were to be wiped out by somebody else, like, say, the Angels, then, we still get to keep all their cool stuff. Which is an absolutely insane position to take, but whatever, either way. All of a sudden there's a long debate about who exactly should, you know, go with Gazelle to Tempest for the founding festival. And one of my favorite details about all of this is the fact that Rimuru's invite literally says, RSVP now because spaces are running out. That is a letter he sent to every noble in the world. Register now because spaces are running out. I mean, that obviously makes sense to say in our, like, modern day society if you're, like, you know, planning a party or a wedding or whatever, but saying that to nobles, to kings, is absolutely freaking insane and horribly rude, but at the same time, it's also, I think, something Gazelle kind of respected a little bit, because, like, okay, now he's talking like a real king, and, you know, basically treating other nobles as his equals. So, yeah, a very strange conversation, and I'm a little bit disappointed they cut it out. Alright, anyway, rest of the episode. And I guess I was wrong. Rimuru actually is in this episode. Alright, first off, what is with this background? That is the flattest farmland I've ever seen. This feels like a Flintstones background. Secondly, I love Ranga. And thirdly, I think they cut out a really interesting scene with Rimuru giving Molly a bodyguard, which was a shame because I was really hoping to see that character in the anime. Also, Rimuru can teleport, so he shouldn't be, you know, riding on Ranga's back, but at the same time, Ranga is such a fluffy puppy, so of course he's riding on his back. Okay, looks like we're also skipping another meeting. Interesting, but, yep, now we get to see Ralmris, and while she does absolutely annoy me, this is still one of the best moments in the entire series, because it leads to the greatest thing, one of the greatest elements I've ever seen in light novel, and I'm so excited to see it animated. Yes, for the record, that is a declaration of war against Rimuru and his nation by a fellow demon lord. And as much as Guy and Malim might like Ralmris, neither of them can really complain if Rimuru were to, you know, crush her like a bug right now for doing this. Yep. Oh, so I really like design. Okay, this is a very skilled craftsman and basically Rimuru's main foreman after Geld. Yes, yes he is, because, yeah, you sold your house, basically, you abandoned your house, whatever, and then came here without any actual, plans or backup or assurance that you would have a place to live. That is such an insane thing to do. And she's actually doing that on top of his hammer. Seriously, that is so perfect. Yeah, in fact, in the light novel, Ramos went way further than this, having already built a crummy little hut to host her labyrinth in, and knocking out several of the guards who tried to stop her from doing that. Of course, Beretta, kneels, because Beretta likes Ramos, even her, selfish side, but at the same time, Beretta is absolutely loyal to Rimuru for, giving her a freaking body. Oh, hey, we have the hut! Oh my god, that is freaking adorable! Seriously, they described a little hut in the light novel. I wasn't really sure what... I expected a little log cabin. But this is adorable! I love it! Also, Trainee. She is a wonderful woman, very strong, very powerful, very hard-headed, but at the same time, utterly and completely incapable of saying no to Ramos. I know people say, oh yeah, Rimuru's people worship him so much. A Trainee is 1,000 times worse. She's literally can't say no. She literally will do anything Ramos tells her to do. And that is pretty annoying to Beretta. Though that said, Beretta also wanted to move to Tempest, so we couldn't complain too much. Do you really need to call her Miss Trainee when she's invading your nation, Rimuru? Seriously? Yes, she did. She invaded another nation. She invaded another demon lord. She declared war on another demon lord. After that demon lord told her that she couldn't live with him. Yeah, Beretta, most reliable person in Ramos' entourage. She slapped her hand against the desk so hard she actually heard it. Oh, Ramos, you actually make me very, very sad. You are so weak and pathetic. And it's insane that you have one of the most powerful skills in this series. Like I said, Trainee, absolutely yes man who literally can't say no to her. Again, you already asked Rimuru for that during the Walpurgis Council, and he already said no! You're thinking too hard about this. Yeah, why would you put any thought into, basically abandoning your house and moving to another nation? That'd be silly. Yes, he would. The very fact that he already denied her request means he would in fact deny her request. That being said, though, I do need to point out that even though Beretta was complaining, Beretta very much wanted this. In fact, even said that under her mask, there was a smile. What was the exact wording? Yes, beneath her mask there was a smile, almost childish in its glee. Yeah, Beretta loves, like I said, Beretta loves Ramos, but Beretta also loves Rimuru and wanted to move to Tempest because, yeah, the labyrinth was pretty boring. Oh, okay, so she actually did that. She actually knocked out the guards. Like I said, completely and absolutely a declaration of war here. Okay, this is absolutely hilarious to me because, yeah, Beretta has a nail in her mask. Not in her teeth, in her actual mask. I don't know why, but absolutely hilarious. Oh, Rimuru has ideas. Terrifying, terrifying ideas. Good for him. Hey, Thalion! Holy mother of God. I mean, no, Light Novel said, oh, it's a nation built within a tree, but seriously, that is absolutely freaking beautiful. Oh, I love that. Yes, so now we finally meet her, Elmisha, Supreme Emperor of the nation of Thalmus. Dun dun dun! And also the niece of Erald, Aaron's father. And despite that fact, elves live a really, really long freaking time, so she is actually, in fact, several centuries, probably millennia, older than him. Exactly how old she is a bit of a mystery, because, yeah, you never ask a woman her age, but she's probably older than humanity itself. So she literally treats everyone in the entire world as a child in comparison to her. And despite that, she is in fact an absolute and complete child, and is incredibly jealous that Erald got to go on this fun, amazing trip without her. Even though, like I said, she is the empress of one of the most powerful nations in the world, so it's not like she can just freely go to a nation of monsters run by a demon lord. Obviously. Yeah, that's an excuse. That is 100% an excuse, because she just wanted to go there herself and have some fun. Oh. Yeah, she's scary. She is really, really scary. Even Gazelle, even King Gazelle is terrified of this woman. Just, yeah, that should put things into context for all of you. You've never been so envious, I mean offended in my entire life. God, she is a brat and I love her. Seriously, even she can't, just keep her story fully straight. Oh, that's beautiful. Ooh. Scary, ooh, scary woman, scary woman. I mean, the letter was technically sent to him, not to her, so he didn't need to report this to her, but she was so jealous over his last visit to Tempest that she literally froze the treaty he made with Tempest. Yeah, the whole deal to exchange technology and build the road, she put a stop to that, or at least temporarily stopped it, simply because she was mad at him. Oh, that is insane. But, I mean, she is an elf. She will probably live for millennia, so delaying a treaty by a few months, years, decades isn't really that much of a big deal to her. Also, it's important that, he can't actually suggest she goes to Tempest. He knows that she wants to go to Tempest, but if he says, do you want to go to Tempest, if he puts the suggestion out there, then it's his fault, and he needs to explain things to the whole council of nobles, whatever. But if she says, I see this invite and I want to go to Tempest, then it's her decision and nobody can question it. Also, yes, Mr. Yoshida, we saw him... Was that last episode? Yeah, he had he tasted Shuna's cooking and was so moved he decided to come to Tempest, at least to help with the founding festival. And they've gotten better, and the, food he can make has gotten better over the years because he has the help of Rimuru, who can get him all these super rare and unique ingredients that no one else on the planet can acquire. I mean, and that's really saying something because, Yoshida was being backed by Angracia, the largest nation in the West, and they loved him. They wanted to give him whatever they could, and even they could not get the same ingredients as Rimuru was able to produce quite easily. Again, like I said, important to point out, he is technically her uncle, and she is still talking down to him every chance she can get. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Aaron, his daughter, came back to Thalion and shared desserts with the Empress, but not only did she not share any with her father, she didn't even tell her father she was back in town. That is cold. That is absolutely freaking cold. Especially because, she has people watching her at all times, and none of them reported to him either. That is just brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yep, that broke him. That completely broke him. Yeah, that's insane. Yoshida was offered the chance to work for Elven royalty, to, literally live in the most powerful magical nation in the world, and he said no to them, but he said yes to freaking Rimuru. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. No idea. Absolutely no idea his daughter was coming back into town. Oh god, poor man. Poor man. Yeah. These two are her guards. Their job is literally to report back to him whenever anything happens, and they didn't tell him that she was coming home. That she regularly returns home to have tea parties with the freaking Empress. That is insane. Also, these two are not as incompetent and weak as they seem. Good to know. I mean, okay, they are actually pretty incompetent if they aren't reporting back to their boss, but they aren't as weak as they seem. Yeah, he was really partying it up in Tempest. I mean, he was, a noble envoy, whatever. So of course, remember, it was giving him the best 5-star treatment, making sure he enjoyed the baths, the food, everything Tempest had to offer. That actually looks really good. I want some of that right now. Seriously. Yeah, again, like I said, he can't actually say, do you want to go? Because then it's his idea. It needs to be her idea. She needs to say it without any prompting. I mean, as childish as she is, she has, run this nation for millennia, so, yeah, she is powerful, she is old, she is smart, and nobody can really stop her. Even if a lot of, the nobles worked together, they couldn't actually usurp the throne from her. Yeah, so basically, because Rimuru's team is building the highway by themselves, they get to say how much, the fees, the tariffs, all of that for using the highway actually are. Whereas if the elves had actually helped in the process even a little bit, even just like guarding the workers, then they could have, negotiated better and gotten fairer deals or gotten a better cut of those fees for themselves. There's also some other points here, because, if the elves had actually been there, if they'd actually been able to watch the process happen, they could have learned, from Rimuru, they could have learned his techniques and used those, for themselves to better and improve themselves. And also, furthermore, one of the things I find absolutely hilarious about this is they actually say, oh, yeah, building this highway is going to take decades or possibly centuries. Except, Rimuru already built a highway from himself to Dwargon and from himself to Blumend in the span of, like, a couple of years, if that, maybe a year. So going to Thalion, I mean, it's going to take a while, but certainly not the untold decades that they've, are convinced it's going to take. So yeah, building the highway is going to be a lot cheaper than they think it is, meaning that, being able to take out all the fees and taxes for themselves will actually make them way, way more money than even Elmetia actually thinks. Yeah, that's also very important. I mean, there are a lot of otherworlders in this world, literally dozens or hundreds of them. But the thing is, I mean, they're only, they're only human. Even if they have special abilities, there's only so much they can actually do in this world to bring back, all the best stuff from their own world, from Japan, from America, from wherever. But Rimuru has an entire army, entire nation of people willing to do whatever he wants, so he actually has the power to get this stuff done. Actually has the power to build anything, to bring back anything. He wants rice, they will make rice. They will genetically modify plants to make him the rice he wants. I mean, the closest we get to that outside of Tempest is probably Yoshida, who was given whatever ingredients that Ingracia could manage to obtain so he can make them the best cakes, the best desserts possible. I love the foreman's in this meeting because, of course, he is. Seriously, that's hilarious. And remember his mini throne? I love his slime throne. It is so adorable. Also, the little hut that Rimuru built up to, basically house her labyrinth. Rimuru has that torn down and turned into a break room for the guards, which I thought was a really nice touch on his part. Oh, I love that Colosseum. Absolutely love it. I remember literally based it, or Great Sage, Raphael, whatever, actually based it on the Roman Colosseum. Just so insanely massive. Also, again, I need to point out, the whole festival thing happens in 2 months. So, yeah, he needs to build this in 2 freaking months. I'm pretty sure it took well over a decade to actually build the real Roman Colosseum. Yeah, just build a door. It doesn't actually have to go anywhere. Just build me a freaking door. Needs to be big and massive, made of stone, and look really impressive. But it shouldn't actually go anywhere. Nope. Nothing beyond it. We just need a door. That's it. A dungeon. Yes, yes, yes! I mean, I think letting Rimuru ask a few more questions before he agrees to this, but yeah, he's planning on building a full freaking 100-floor underground dungeon. God, I love it. Oh, that sparkle. Oh my god, that sparkle in her eyes. I mean, you might think that Rimuru is being too nice to Ramos here, but believe me, he has profit fully in mind. Because what he's planning right now is more massive and impressive than anything he's ever done in this entire series. So yeah, basically Rimuru's plan originally was to build this giant coliseum that these huge, massive fights in. But the problem is, these massive fights, they take time, they take energy, they take all of this. You can't do them every day of the week. But building an underground labyrinth that adventurers can fight in, that means they can do all their hunting. That means they can do all their monster farming, grinding, whatever in Tempest. They can do it in the dungeon, come out of the dungeon, and just go sleep in a wonderful hotel, go to the bar, talk about the monsters they fought, talk about the goods they found. It's awesome. It is absolutely freaking awesome, especially because, now that Rimuru has basically conquered the entire forest of Jura, there's a lot less monsters out in the wild for people to actually fight. So, yeah, a lot of adventurers are going to end up unemployed unless Rimuru gives them a new source of income. Yeah, honestly, more than even the money, it's the fact that she's actually being offered a job. Because she's been known far and wide by the other demon lords as an absolute and complete deadbeat. But being given a job, being actually given work, really just completely and utterly changes things. And now she can brag that she is actually doing something productive for, once in her entire freaking life. Okay, that is a bit of hyperbole. She was actually really cool and important, a long time ago. But since then, yeah, I don't think she's really done basically anything. Yes, she will no longer be a jobless shut-in, and she can rub it in Dino's face because he's also a jobless shut-in. Huzzah! よかったですわ、ラビリス様。経者が来るとして、お前の取り分は金貨2枚になれ。So yeah, Rimuru's conservative estimate is that Ramirez will get at least 2 coins per day, 2 gold coins per day. That is more than most people make in their entire lives. So yeah, that is a lot of freaking money, and there's no place better to spend it than in Tempest. Oh, good lord above. Oh, Ramirez, I love her. I know she's annoying, but I absolutely love her. Now nobody will call me a deadbeat and a destitute demon lord. Yeah, the other ones have been pretty mean to her because, like I said, she hasn't actually really done anything all that important in a very, very long time. I mean, all the other demon lords, they own, territory. Malim doesn't really manage it, but she owned that. Carrion, Faye, they own their own nations. Luminous owned an entire nation, religion that controlled most of the West. Draggle has his own nation. They're all out doing stuff. But Ramirez basically just was sitting around in her labyrinth tinkering with golems for the last 1,000 years. Okay, technically she was also managing the dwelling of the spirits, but that wasn't really a full-time job. It's actually really interesting because a few episodes back I mentioned that I didn't think the refugee housing was that nice. I mean, seriously, these are cookie-cutter houses with private gardens and trees. Every yard has a tree in it. That is insane. And turns out I was right because the light novel actually described the people as living out of tents. Which, yeah, big difference. Also, that's a bit weird to me because, Rimuru is planning on hosting this big, huge founding festival, and he'd have like a large chunk of the city operated by a refugee camp, people living out of tents. I mean, that wouldn't be a good look for him. I'm not saying they would, I just feel like people would look down on him because of it. I mean, if you look back to history, when California hosted the Olympics, they actually outlawed homelessness because they didn't want people to see their city as a place where homeless people lived, which, yeah, that's so freaking awful. But anyway, the point is, refugee camp in the middle of your city, not a great look, just saying. 住宅が立ち並んでいるから、闘技場の建設はちょっと無理だな。それならさ、私の迷宮の中に引っ越ししてもらったらどう？その区画を、Yeah, she could just transport the whole area in one go. I mean, I said a little while ago that Ramirez was had one of the most broken skills in this series, and I was not joking. She can transport the entire refugee camp into her labyrinth like that. As easy as that. I mean, transporting people is a bit harder, but still. That is insanely broken. Yeah, huh, that's the only way you can actually respond to that. This is a big thing for her skill. Basically, a person must acknowledge that they're going into the labyrinth. They need to give her permission to basically enter it. And that permission can literally be as much as just a sign above saying, this is a labyrinth. If you go in here, you'll be in a labyrinth. That's it. That's permission. If they try to go in, they are acknowledging that they are entering a labyrinth and they are under her control. And that she is basically their god as long as they are in the labyrinth. Weirdly enough, though, you can actually transport you can't transport a sleeping person to the labyrinth. If you're carrying someone on your back who's asleep, you can't enter it. But you can carry an infant child because they are technically classified as a thing rather than a person because they have yet to develop free will, which is a very weird concept. I mean, that's mean. That is absolutely mean. And, strongest demon lord, as much as Romulus likes to brag, that's not much of a brag. That's not much of an exaggeration. Let's not forget, in her prime, she was able to take on Malim alongside Guy. So she is actually incredibly powerful. But the problem is she goes through cycles of death and rebirth. So she gets stronger and stronger over the centuries, millennia, until she basically becomes so powerful her body can't contain it all. And then she explodes, reincarnates into a stronger form. But that form also takes, centuries, millennia to build up to her maximum power. Aw, that pat on the shoulder was adorable. Yeah, I mean, praising Romulus is a dangerous thing because she gets a very big head very easily. But at the same time, like I said, her skill is so incredibly broken that it's hard not to praise her. It is incredible. Next time, the Labyrinth and the Storm Dragon. Oh, I'm excited for that. I mean, like I said, the Labyrinth is one of the coolest elements in the series. I think we actually see it briefly in the opening. It is just insane. It is awesome. I mean, what Romulus can do with it is just broken. Absolutely freaking broken. And I love it. But here we go. Here's what the Labyrinth actually looks like. Yeah, this is her skill right here. Just building a labyrinth. She can build an entire floor of it in an hour and can build up to 100 floors. Oh, I love her skill so much. All right, so anyway, the rest of the episode was basically, a Dwarven nation and the Elfin nation deciding what to do about Rimuru. I mean, the Dwarves, they recognize that he is a serious threat and could probably beat them in an actual freaking fight. At the same time, they realize, okay, listen up. We're friends with Rimuru. He's our ally. He's not going to betray us. I have faith in him. Huzzah! Whereas the elves, the elves were basically just playing a game the entire time. Or at the very least, the Empress was playing a game, just absolutely crushing Errol, even though he's her uncle and the Archduke of the country. Oh god, poor Errol. Though even she recognizes what a threat Rimuru actually is. He can do so much. He has so much power and authority and imagination that he's literally built up one of the most powerful and prosperous nations in 3 to 5 years. I can't remember exactly how long he's been in this world. I'm going to say it's somewhere between 3 and 5 years. So yeah, good for him. Good for you, Rimuru. That is seriously freaking impressive. Love it. And then Romulus and her labyrinth. God, I love her labyrinth so much. I'm so excited to really see it animated next episode. That's going to be so freaking amazing. I mean, like I said, she is literally a god within that thing, and I'm not even exaggerating. But please, let me know what you think down below. What'd you think of our 2 new meetings? What'd you think of the dwarves and the elves, King Gazelle and Elmisha, Supreme Empress of Thalion? What do you think of Romulus now living in Tempest and, basically building a labyrinth for Rimuru to, play games in, for Rimuru to make money off of? I mean, it is hilarious when you realize that the previous labyrinth was basically a holy site where, that's where you could go to meet the great, powerful spirits. And now Rimuru's like, hey, you want to enter the labyrinth? That's $5. Go fight some monsters. Have fun. Insane. Absolutely freaking insane. But anyway, though, please leave anything down below. And until next time, peace!